Now, our big segment, I guess, for this episode is our best player at every age.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just a Sky merchant. I'm taking over Sky's doing it and we're running with it here. But I didn't watch them, so this is all unique, individual.
Yep.
Thanks to FIFA for helping me out so to confirm some ages as well.
Shout out EA Sports.
Yeah, Sports coming through. We're going to go ages 17 to 32.
Yep.
We know after 32, we sort of know who the best players are. You got Messi, Ronaldo, so blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
we're going through the ages that are in their prime, unless or playing football.
Yep.
Do you want to get kicked off with your 17-year-old?
I've gone with Lewis Miley.
Yeah, I like
Newcastle.
it. Yeah, I love it.
Obviously, he's had to play because of the injuries, but he's a really good player, man. And he's 17.
Yes.
You know, he can help. Bruno Guimaraes in there, obviously Longstaff, Joelinton. But yeah, a lot of Newcastle fans are really excited about him. And
I think he's like, if you look future, like I'm thinking like 3 Euros away, you could be seeing Manu, Miley, Bellingham,
that's
like
mental,
as the
isn't it?
peak. Yeah, you know, like that could be like obviously a way away, but we're seeing it like live now. It's just
we're saying this, Southgate will still pick Henderson and Calvin
a
Phillips.
44-year-old Henderson.
Exactly. So.
Calvin Phillips still was on Man City's bench and he was going to kick
But
as well.
exactly.
I've been really impressed with Miley. I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. Yeah, I've been very impressed. Considering he's just been thrown in there.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole Tonali signing's obviously gone down the wayside.
Yeah.
So he's having to be Tonali basically
Pretty
in
much,
this
yeah.
team, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
My 17-year-old Zaire Emery,
Yeah, good one.
love it. I don't watch much of PSG, but in the Champions League you see a bit of them, see him come off the bench a little bit, see some highlights what he's doing. He's obviously a big talent. It's if these guys from PSG can continue to perform if they get transferred away. Like, does he get the big Barcelona or Real Madrid move?
Yeah.
Does he come Bundesliga or Premier League? Or does he stay in France and dominate these farmers for years to come?
I mean, I'd like to see him stay in France for a little while.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. I'm saying that when he's in that sort of 24, 23 range,
Yeah.
or nowadays with Bellingham, if you're 20, you can move to a big club.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he's obviously got the package there. You talk about, and he's like in this starting lineup with these great players at times. So that's, you've got some serious talent in your hands.
Good shout. Very good
Same in the
shout.
French team soon, maybe as well.
Yep.
You're 18-year-old.
I went with Matisse Tell from Bayern Munich.
I was close to putting you in.
He's averaging a goal or assist every, I think it's about 60-odd minutes, 63 minutes. Some of the goals he's scored this year, like right foot, left foot, and he's coming off the bench for most of those games because obviously they got Kane. But even in some games, Tuchel's taking Kane off and bringing him on. Like, that just shows not only the quality that he's got, but the trust that Tuchel puts in an 18-year-old.
Yeah, big player.
So, yeah, he's one that I think next couple of years, I think he's going to be one of Bundesliga's best.
Yeah, but I say because Kane's going to be there forever. He'll probably come back to Premier League or retire soon. That's just an automatic just switch over. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Clinical
He's
striker.
learning from one of the best. So
Exactly. Yeah, but say
what could go wrong?
if you're going to learn from clinical first strikers, it's Harry Kane to go off.
Exactly.
I've gone similar to you in terms of my 18. I went Manu. So, I watched a fair bit of him.
Yeah, I was fully.
Goulart
I was
there.
close.
Yeah. Andre Goulart was there as well from Real Madrid, but we've only seen him once play for Real Madrid, so that's the only reason I didn't pick him.
Yep.
A lot of hype around him as well. That's excited what he does, but Manu's playing night in, night out. It feels like for Man United, and everyone's angry when he gets benched. That's when you know that.
Yeah, that's when he first played against Everton. I was like, Jesus, why hasn't he been playing? I think was he injured at the start?
I think it was it might be an injury or just rested. It's weird. I don't know why he's doing it because we are so desperate for players. And even last night, he's probably the best player on the pitch for us, which is ridiculous.
He's quality.
There's millions and millions of pounds in terms of wages.
Yeah.
And some guy that's probably on the academy wage just showing you up.
Exactly.
So it's good to see that academy vibe come through again with a few players. I just wish to see him more play and hope, fingers crossed, that he doesn't get injured.
Is he best as a lone six by himself? Is he best in a double pivot?
I think a double pivot right now. I think with what we're seeing now, though, again, totally off topic, but I've seen a lot of teams, and we're talking a few teams coming up about how they play, fluid midfields. Midfields where there isn't just a six, there isn't just an eight.
Yep.
Midfields that basically have, at times, maybe sixes and eights, which even at times the tens. Like, I look at your midfield, and we're talking about players to sign in the last podcast episode, and I was like, if you get Paulinho, then you've got like the most fluid midfield. I'd think probably the best midfield in the league if Paulinho joins Liverpool, because what you've got then is McAllister can play as a six, can play as an eight, plays a 10 as well. Yeah. So Bozak can play as a 10 or an 8. Paulinho is probably your 6, but he could go and be an 8 and throw his body around. Look at Villa. They don't have a 6 or an 8 anymore. They just have midfielders. Yeah. That's the way going forward, I feel like. So for Manu and for Manchester United, I think is right now Casemiro, when he comes back, will be there. I think you have to go with that. But then going in the future, just buy someone who's physical and can play on the ball, because that seems to be the formula going forward. Midfielders who can play in all different roles, double pivots, and now, probably appear like that on the screen when they show the
Yeah.
lineups,
Yeah.
but it's when you're out the ball, there's a certain structure. When you're with the ball, certain structure. Because he isn't, in my mind, just a holder. He's got playmaking
Yeah.
and he's got that vision
Yeah,
and IQ to
definitely,
his
yeah.
game. So I think he has the ability to either transform himself into an 8 or to play in that double pivot there.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting
Yeah.
going in the future. I think that's where football is transitioning right
Yeah,
now.
100%. Yep.
Mobile midfields. 19-year-old.
I
Slam
had
dunk.
Gavi.
Yeah, Gabby.
Yeah. It's unfortunate now because I believe he's done an ACL
Another,
and
yeah,
he's going to
injury.
miss the Euros.
Yeah.
But before his ACL, he's such a good player. In the times that I have watched Barca, which isn't a lot, but I have seen,
Yeah.
like he's got a bit of everything. You know, he can get the ball deep.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I think without him, Barca are a little bit worse in midfield, big time.
Like
And that's saying a lot for a 19-year-old.
it doesn't matter. Like Gundogan's there trying to do a job. Frankie de Jong's had a bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
I'm just worried in terms of Pedri and Gavi, all these guys. If they keep getting injured, are we actually going to see the best of them?
They are overplayed a lot.
Like I look at
Like, even national team, they play every
they
minute.
play
of
all the
every
time.
game.
Like I look at back at Ansu Fati, and that was supposed to be the next Messi.
Yeah.
Injuries, not proper recovery. I've read the stuff about the Barcelona physios not giving proper recovery. Now he's not even starting for Brighton. Like, you know, I'm just worried in terms of just being a football fan. You're not going to be able to see the best of these guys because
Yeah, no. That's
especially the guy, that's a bad injury, man. Like
yeah,
these can be
yeah,
bad.
no, that's the worst injury in football.
Like you saw with Van Dijk when he came back
Oh,
from
yeah.
you guys. It took him a year to
Take-
sort of
yeah,
get the pace
it
back
does, yeah.
for a midfielder.
It's everyone as well.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
everyone, you know. Is that and an Achilles, which are the worst
The
injuries
two,
to
those
get.
two you can get right.
I know Achilles is more like you see that a lot in basketball. But yeah, like ACL, and it's more like the mental side of it.
Coming back as well, yeah.
Like it's so hard that first couple of months.
How do you go into tackles?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you land after
Exactly.
a headed? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think he's night and day, right, as a 19-year-old.
Oh yeah,
He's,
he'll be fine.
He's 28,
Yeah.
basically playing in a 19-year-old's
They
body.
just need to manage him
Keep
the correct
him,
way.
Yeah, keep him healthy. I think the next one will be pretty much the same thing as well. Mr. Jude, hey Jude.
Hey Jude.
Talk about 28-year-olds in a
honest.
19-year-old body. This guy's basically a
I
35-year-old
know.
in a 20-year-old's
He's
body.
playing like he's 28, 29 in his prime. Like he's 20 years old, man.
At
and
Real
he's-
Madrid, probably their best
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
Could be captaining the way he's going about
Exactly.
things.
The expectation, like to go into that club and to be, you know, to replace Modric and Kroos and all these guys
best
straight
midfield
away.
trio we've seen in
Yeah,
ages,
exactly. He's just a freak of a player.
Freaking
man.
nature. And, you know, I always say Bundesliga, you can take it with a grain of salt almost sometimes. But maybe, like, they're proving us wrong. Haaland's proving us wrong. Bellingham's proving us wrong. But, yeah, you're always a bit nervous with Bundesliga players coming to Spain, coming to England because they're
Yeah,
different
you've
leagues
seen it a
to
lot.
Bundesliga.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, is it really going to work out? I reckon it's probably the best start anyone's had at a club.
It's definitely up there.
This is going to
Big
be like,
time.
I'm
Big
just going to
time,
simplify it now.
Yeah.
Like I taught in my video way back when he went early on, but I'm like comparing to Zidane's start. He's better than Zidane's start. Probably better than Ronaldo's start as well. Like
Yeah.
in terms of Real Madrid players joining
Yeah.
the club, I can't think of any better.
You're probably not wrong, to be honest.
And he's English as well, so everyone talks about it. You can't
Pretty
not
much,
hear
yeah.
about him.
The English tax.
The English
you know,
tax
so
goes heavy there as well.
Ballon d'Or contender as well. Like
Haaland being out and not in the Euros.
it's all
That
dependent
helps
on the Euros, big time. If they win it, if they get in the final and he still has an unbelievable tournament, he still wins it. But to even be in the conversation at 20 and playing as sort of a more of attacking midfielder is just ridiculous.
Finally see that new generation, with
Yeah,
off
finally.
Messi and Ronaldo. It's finally someone new is going to have a crack at
Yeah,
it.
pretty much.
Era of Mbappe, Haaland and Jude. You're 21-year-old.
I have got Pedri.
Okay.
21.
Okay. Yeah. So I would have gone him. I'll let you talk about Pedri first, but yeah, I had something different.
I think these Barca youngsters coming through, Gavi and Pedri. I think I was close to putting Camavinga in, just because Camavinga's got that versatility. You can play at left back a bit.
Goalkeeper as well.
Goalkeeper. But Pedri, he's so good, man. He's so good. Like he moves the ball well, finds good pockets of spaces to get into, and I think every time you drop out one of these youngsters, whether it's Gavi, whether it's Pedri, you see a drop off in Barcelona big time,
Massive hole,
and
yeah.
they're 19 and 21. So
Goes to show you how good they are.
Yeah.
That La Masia, yeah, it's different gravy. I've gone different. I'm a very recency biased man. I've gone Josko Gvardiol as
Okay.
my 21-year-old.
Okay.
Again, it was between him and Pedri was very close. But again, with the Barca drop off, probably part of him not being there, but still, I think with what we've seen Vardy do in terms of the World Cup as well, for me was a big turning point. He was massive. The master assassin in that World Cup, he was incredible.
He was very good.
The way he just slid into Man City, it's not the easiest team just to come inside into. Yep. He seems to have been seamless into that unit. And the first 10 games was probably the most consistent for me in that City side. I think he was outperforming Ruben Dias in a foreign position out to the left back there. So with what I've seen recently, especially I think the last 12 months, probably for me the best 21-year-old.
That's a great shout. I kind of forgot about him in a way, just because he's playing out of position for City and
doesn't feel like he's 21 either.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's a great shout.
Both of those, they're both massive for their units. I think Vardy can hide under so much talent at City. That's the way it is. But you look at what he did before. Again, another Bundesliga player as well, comes to perform, World Cup as well, a leader in that team. I feel like I had to mention him this one.
Yeah, great shout.
22-year-olds now.
I went with Rodrigo from Real Madrid.
Yeah, I went the same as well. People are going to hate it because they want Saka. But
Saka or Saliba, they were the first two that came to mind. But I just think with Rodrigo, he's clutch moments. He's been there.
Champions
Versatility
League
as well,
I
think.
Yep.
And, to be 22, playing for Madrid, right winger, you just got
there's eyes on you 24/7.
Exactly, eyes on you 24/7.
And Shaq as well, in terms of like the last 8 weeks, no Vinicius.
Yeah, no.
He's had to hold that front line together because it's basically been him and Jude as a front two at times, it feels like. So that has to be appreciated as well. And maybe because Saka's had not as good a start of the season as his season last year, but in terms of 18 months, I think Rodrigo's sort of
he's
head
right
and shoulders, right? I think
he's been really, really good.
And the Real Madrid tax.
Ever since he's got there, to be honest, he's been really good.
Like Vinicius took a while. I think Rodrigo hit the ground running, right? We can all sort of agree on that.
Like, there's a bit of like, if Mbappe was to come, we might have to get rid of Rodrigo, Valverde or something like that. There's been a little bit of links there, but like, if you're moving on Rodrigo to bring in Mbappe, like that's not an indictment against the worst. It's not an indictment against the player. It's just we're bringing in a generational player.
Could you see Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo front three?
I don't want to see it because the whole world football would be shitting themselves, to be honest.
Then the world's done, isn't it?
Yeah. But if that was to happen.
Players though, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But very dribbling, head down to the players. That's why I think Valverde is so important for Real Madrid.
Oh, he's huge.
Champions League ties, when you need that sort of player that can go inside, can go outside.
He can literally play anywhere.
Full back.
And he'll be the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Real Madrid, I did call it. That was a prediction video last time you were here. I think they might do the treble. Yeah, because in Champions League, if City don't get up to speed, and obviously we haven't seen KDB back with them in a Champions League game, but if they don't get up to speed, I think Real Madrid might walk it.
Yeah, it's just hard to see anyone else being really competitive besides City.
Other than City.
But
and
even there,
like, you guys are probably the best team in England right now. You're not even in the Champions League.
No.
The Italian sides this year, I'm not really... They're all back to that sort of more defensively oriented. Like Napoli, which team we'll touch a bit later, they were the front-footed team. They were aggressive. Inter, similar, but it's all based on defence.
Yeah.
You're going to try and score goals into Real Madrid. And I don't think many teams can put past teams like Real Madrid like that.
If Mbappe comes, to be honest, if I'm Liverpool, I'm happy playing against Lusk and you.
Take the Europa League and take some
I'll
trophies.
take just give me a trophy.
Yeah, 100%. 23.
Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland.
I mean, it's kind of
obvious. Really talk about this guy.
Obviously, there's Vinicius as well. He's unlucky to not get put in, but I mean,
should have been born a different year, man.
Just,
I think.
Just be like a year younger.
Younger, be a year older.
But yeah, Haaland's just a joke, man.
Silent, right? It's a robot. He scores goals.
Yeah, the walking robot.
Yeah,
so,
and he's Man City, and they've won a treble, so you can't really doubt him at all.
You can't not put him in.
Absolutely. 24.
This was
a harder one.
This was a harder one, yeah, because there's
a few names around that region.
There's not a standout for sure. Not a standout. I went with Arejo.
See, I was close. I went Decky Rice.
Yeah, that was the two I was debating.
Same here, yeah.
There was Rafa Leao as well, but I thought...
He hasn't been as good this season.
Yeah, hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
I went with Arejo just because I can't ignore what he did last year with Barca. Getting the... help him to stay and get the most clean sheets in a season. It was probably the best defender in the league last year. Yeah. He's so good, and he's 24. It was a flip of the coin between him and Rice, to be honest. But yeah, I did go with Arejo.
And for me, Raul's, I know I had him in my team the year last week. Like, I definitely rated him really highly. Declan Rice has been super consistent. I don't think he's had a bad game since 2018. Almost, it feels like a time when he was just getting into that West Ham side. I think as much as it was massive for La Liga title for Barcelona, West Ham to win a European trophy was also like phenomenal. Like Bazinga, you see the Bazinga block him crying. That's how big of a deal it really was. No, that was massive for them, and I think he was the catalyst for that. As much as it was like Paqueta had a poor season, and they were relying on odd goals from Bowen, it wasn't a really functional West Ham compared to this year. Definitely nowhere near the function of this year's West Ham side. He held that thing together. He held the ship together. Araujo was massive in terms of defence. I think he was the reason they kept those clean sheets. I think Declan Rice, in terms of an all-round player, man, I'm still waiting to see him play as an 8 because I think that's his best position. And are we ever going to see it? I don't know.
I don't get why. I know Partey was injured, but at the start of the season, I don't get why it wasn't Partey's the 6, Rice the 8. That was the general consensus was what the midfield was going to be, yeah.
I'm still waiting to see because I think his passing array, we saw it at times at West Ham when he had the opportunity to do it. I want to see him do it at a big club, man. I want to see him, go all out and play as an 8. So
I think you convinced me there. I'm not gonna lie. Seriously.
No, I don't know
because I think
a serious player.
Yeah, he's really good. I think it's not his fault. I think he's dropped off slightly this year because there's been games where he's been playing like right back. Like you can play there, but Xavi's moved his defense way too much.
It's more
this
Xavi and their holes in their midfield rather than Araujo, though. I think.
Yeah, like he's playing left backs, centre backs, and he's got a centre back playing right back. It's just it's a bit all over the place. But
Xavi's starting too much at the moment.
It's a flip of the coin between them two.
Definitely. 25.
Trent.
No. You know what? Right now, you never know. You never know.
When you said we're doing 18 to 30 or 10 to 30, I was like, great. Trent gets in at 25. And then I was like, oh, God, well, how old's Mbappe? 25. Fuck. Got to put Mbappe in.
Kiki Mbappe.
Yeah. It's mental. He's 25 already.
It's
like
this is the thing where it's like the whole Ronaldo and Messi. We've taken away probably 3 Ballon d'Ors or 2 Ballon d'Ors he could have won. Like he's 25. Like obviously, it's nowhere near. He would play into 33, whatever, 34 at a high level.
Yeah.
But you're right. When I looked at it as well, Kylian Mbappe is 25 years old.
I know.
I still remember him being 17, scoring bangers for Monaco. And I'm thinking like, it's ridiculous.
It's such a shame that he hasn't had that big move yet because he's so wasted in that league, man. He's so wasted. He needs to make a move. Come into the season, he has to move to Real Madrid
or Liverpool.
I mean, I think I'd take him. But
tempting.
Obviously, Arsenal fans are trying to get in the conversation now that they could get him.
I just don't think the only reason he'd moved to the Premier League was Jurgen Klopp, and I think he's come out and said that. That's the only hope you guys have, and maybe, like you said, if Ancelotti is still doing what he does at Real Madrid and that sort of more defensive mindset, does he go to Jurgen Klopp's side? And
I just think this deal's been planned for 2 years,
10 years in the making.
Honestly, it's just one of those. It has to happen.
Yeah,
it needs to happen. He needs to go to
right.
Yeah, I think it's just Real Madrid. I don't even think Liverpool have a chance. I just wages. Even if he said I would like to go to Liverpool, I just think wages is
$400,000 a week. Stupid.
Probably more. Yeah. We struggle to get Salah to
but that's the thing as well. Yeah, but he'd be or wherever he lands, it'll be ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
Because with the players he'll have around him at either side.
Yeah.
God, and like we talked about, it'll be interesting to see how they'll work out at Real. He's got a lot of players out to fit into 3 positions realistically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mbappe, not head and shoulders, I think, at the moment.
Just like Trent, man. I want to put Trent in, but
25 and a half year old Trent Alexander-Arnold, especially after last night's performance. Oh, the 2 nights ago performance, that was ridiculous. 26-year-old. This is another balanced one as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of like, I don't know, it's a bit of kind of an average age, to be honest. Not average, but like...
Yeah, there's not the standout.
There's not a standout, yeah. I went with Ruben Diaz.
Same here, yeah.
Frankie de Jong was kind of...
Yeah, as I say, if you give 12 months ago, I might go Frankie.
Yeah, I think Ruben Diaz has been ridiculous ever since he's come to City.
I think, I was probably very harsh on his start of the season this year. I think he hadn't started well, and I think maybe more because Vardiol came in and almost looked the better. And obviously what Stones at the end of last season. Maybe I was blinded. Yeah, and maybe that's to it as well. They weren't the greatest start of the season. Maybe I was blinded by all of what was going on. So I wasn't really big on what Diaz was doing the first sort of 10 games or 8 games a season. But ever since, you've seen City sort of tighten up. They're need to tighten up to win certain games.
Yep.
Whenever they play well, he plays well. So that's probably the easiest correlation.
If he plays well, if they lose, it's like, what the fuck? Haaland's probably missed about 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that's probably more the point.
Yeah.
Definitely for me, the 26-year-old. 27.
Rodri.
Yeah, another Man City player.
Just one of the best.
Probably the best in the world.
Yeah,
in terms
best
of
DM in the world when fit, when available.
Yeah.
probably one of the best DMs to ever play in the Premier League, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just his capabilities defensively, what he can do. Obviously, he's so good at cutting passing lanes and shutting down whether it's Bruno or Odegaard or whoever.
Yeah.
But he can go forward and score big goals in big moments.
Big games, yeah.
Like, he's done it this year. Sheffield United away, they were struggling.
Yeah.
He scored. Obviously, Champions League final, he did it. You know, he scored to make it 2-2 against Villa last day of the season.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... Like, players like that are just so good to have in your team. And you need them in every team.
You can't find these players, though. And
Yeah.
they had that two in Gundogan as well.
Exactly, that
Two
too.
guys
Yeah.
that could do everything. Because Roger always gets said as the best number 6, but you're right. He's got all the facets of the game covered. It's always the aura of him as well.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
he's in the
Yeah.
side. It's just every team takes City
Yeah.
differently. You can't get at City. You can't win the midfield battle. It's
Yeah, no.
like, give it up. It's like,
Yeah,
play
it's-
without the
it's-
ball because
it's
there's no
like
chance.
when Arsenal had like Vieira in the midfield.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Man United had Keane. It's like, fuck, I've got to go against this guy. Like,
Yeah. It's just,
he's just a nightmare to play against.
you say those names, he's probably closing and or eclipse these
Yeah.
players already. It's ridiculous.
The more they win, the closer he gets. De
Trophies
Bruyne is
galore.
already probably the best.
Probably the best, yeah.
ever.
It's ridiculous. That midfield when they're all together is
Oh,
something to behold.
freakish. We're talking about bloody Mbappe joining
Yeah.
Real Madrid. We've had it in the Prem with that midfield.
We've had it in the midfield of the best midfield we've ever seen. So I think FME night and day, the 27-year-old best player.
Yep.
28,
I went with Kimmich.
Kimmich as well, yeah. I think, there's some guys, you talk about best CDMs or best
Yeah.
sixes, this guy's just knocking
Yeah,
that door
I
as
know
well.
you guys spoke about Paulinho
Yeah.
moving to Liverpool. I think that'll cost about sort of 70 million. I think Fulham will push high. I think he's just signed a new contract as well.
Yeah.
But for me, if you were to say you get a choice of a DM, who do you want? It'd be Kimmich for me.
100%.
He's leader. I think he's the captain of Germany and Bayern. He knows how to win titles. He's done it for years. He's just a beast of a player. Hardly ever loses a 50-50.
No.
And he's experienced, which is what Liverpool need, as a bigger body and a more experienced body. We don't need younger players. We've already got that.
Yeah.
So Kimmich is, he's unbelievable.
He's someone that started at right back or
Yeah.
then went midfield and then back right. But he can play anywhere. You're right. And he plays at Bayern where
He's not really talked about as well because
No.
Germany have sort of flopped in the last couple
Since
of
that World
tournaments.
Cup.
Yeah, they've sort of
nowhere
flopped.
near it.
And Bayern, like, people expect them to win the league. It's about, can they win the Champions League? Can they get to a semi? Can they get to a final? So, I
stands
think
out
he's...
though,
yeah,
right? He commands space. He's got that conditioning that Bayern players will have. So he's physical, reads a pass, his IQ. He reminds you of what Xavi Alonso was when he was at Bayern, where, like, you just know he's going to be there. So you just trust that the back four is covered or, the midfield can be controlled because
100%.
they have that ability on the ball where, again, another aura thing where you can't really touch this guy when he has the ball at his feet.
Yeah, no.
Vision-wise, like in terms of all-rounded, Rodri's probably the better number 6. In terms of all-round players, it gets a bit more of a conversation, I think, with Kimmich in there. And you're right, he goes under the radar so much with just small and that's what I think now we're in the era of understanding what these sixers do because in the last few years, you just go under the radar what Rodri and what Kimmich these guys can do. Small things, picking the ball up, transitioning the ball, breaking the play up, and then covering that back four. Because nowadays when fullbacks like Davies are literally left wingers and you've got, these centre-backs like Kim Min-jae also comfortable playing on the ball, you need someone to help them out just in case it goes pear-shaped.
It's a very underappreciated position.
Yeah, underappreciated, under-talked about as well,
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
29-year-old. Another interesting age, I think.
Yeah, another interesting one. Bernardo Silva for me.
Okay, yeah, I'll pick the other
You
Portuguese
went
guy. Yeah,
Bruno,
yeah.
I just think I love Bruno, but I think Bernardo. I said this last week in the team of the year. I think Bernardo Silva is so underrated.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Like all the talks about Rodri and De Bruyne, and of course it is because they're freakish, right?
Yeah.
But Bernardo Silva, never injured,
No.
always plays.
Yeah.
He just roams around everywhere and he finds little pockets of spaces.
up,
He's just a little pesty.
Yeah, he is,
he's a little
he is.
pest. Obviously, that for the last couple of years, there's been talks of him like moving to Barca, a different challenge. But every year he just comes in, professional, does his bit, and it goes under the radar.
Yeah.
But I think that he's just so important for that team, wherever he plays.
Underrated is how he came in after David Silva as well. Like he almost was like, I think 2 years after David Silva retired or something like that. A lot of pressure with
Not
the
a bad
Silva name.
replacement. Yeah,
a Silva name at Man City after arguably probably the best number 10 before De Bruyne in terms of David Silva. A lot of pressure to pick that up and he's done well. And you're right. he picks up spaces, but what he does best is he's constantly out of position. He's playing right wing, left wing as like a central midfielder now. Like he's never played at number 10.
He's just given the license to just go and play.
Just go and roam around, pick the ball up, put the ball in the box. Probably one of the best deliveries into the box as well, I think, in the league.
Yeah.
I just went Bruno. Maybe United bias.
No, I mean, his numbers over the last couple of years have been
numbers are ridiculous. And it doesn't correlate to much winning in terms of Manchester United, but he's been, I think, the top calendar year chance creator for like the last 2 years, and then was second behind KDB before that. Plays every single minute of every single game. Like, he shows passion in different ways that some people don't like, but I see the way he does it. That's the way he goes about it, and I appreciate that. He's one of a few that play at United that actually show care and passion for the club. And since he's come across, maybe other than KDB and Rodri, in terms of midfielders, I don't think you can name a more consistent midfielder. Has some downturns, but he's always come up with goals or assists in important moments. And if he had a better strike, I think you see his assist numbers skyrocket over the last few years. So for me, and it's also his Euro qualifying and World Cup work as well. He's quite important for Portugal as well. I think he stands out there a lot. So that's my 29-year-old.
Very nice.
The final three now, 30-year-old now.
Probably the easiest, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
30. Good job.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane.
It's a speak to itself when he scored, 20-something goals already this season.
I mean, the next closest I could think of was like Edison.
That's the thing. But then like everyone slags him off for not being the full keeper.
Like Tots didn't have him as a top 5 keeper.
Apparently,
Nick Leno's better than him.
Leno was better than him. Yeah, they're ridiculous.
But like Kane's just, the numbers speak for themselves.
That different league now as well.
Yeah.
What can you say else about Harry Kane? He was at Tottenham, unfortunately, and then he leaves. You know what? Imagine if he was there now. The poor guy's going to move.
Jesus.
And maybe Leverkusen might win the Bundesliga over final.
If he was at Spurs now, though, imagine him under Ange Ball. Bloody hell.
Because he'd be perfect. No need to drop in, just get in behind and score goals. He's a goal scorer, top Tottenham goal scorer. He'll come back and probably take the Premier League's top goal scorer as well, I think.
You think he'll come back to
I think that's the grand plan. He'll come back maybe for 2 years.
Is that to Tottenham or is that to a Man United?
I think he just wants to... he probably doesn't want it, but I think it'd be the right story to come back, take the record and finish on that, right?
Yeah, that's
even if it is for some middle table club or who knows what's happening by then. Maybe Bournemouth are pushing in, Bournemouth get a hold of him, something like that. Yeah. That's what I can see it happening. But yeah, I think head and shoulders in terms of 30-year-olds.
Oh yeah, well above.
Now 31. This one was a harder one, but I think there's still one superstar that stands out for me. Mo Salah, yeah. There's a few names though in this, but I had to get him back up. I didn't write them on my notes.
I had Alisson as the other.
It was Alisson and someone else as well. I'm sure there was you can talk about Salah by trying to find this.
All I could think of was sort of Salah and Alisson, but ever since Salah's come to Liverpool, he's done everything. He's won everything. Even for Egypt as well, he's performed. He's taken them to, I think he got into a World Cup. He qualified. He scored a penalty. And it's just, I mean, everyone talks about Mo Salah every week. You can't say anything more.
Can't miss him, right?
You know, him going. That's why I'm so scared for the next transfer window because it's just Saudi money, and it's also Liverpool looking at the money, going, Jesus, 200 million.
Yeah. Do we take this? Yeah. That's what they're thinking to themselves.
Yeah.
We'll see now, because this AFCON and Asian Cup, how much you miss him. I think Liverpool, I guess the upstairs, Klopp will obviously know how much he means, but the upstairs might get a gist of how much you may need him, see how much you should value him come the summer. But yeah, Mo Salah. We're having a chat about this actually on Saturday night, Salah versus Hazard, in terms of their peaks and who's a better player. Obviously the better player is probably Mo Salah in terms of over so many periods, but I want to see what you think in terms of on their day. I'm thinking like gold jersey Hazard versus Champions League winning Mo Salah. Who are you picking?
It's hard because Hazard's so in his prime. Jesus, he was a freak of nature. Yeah. If we're talking over a season, I think Mo Salah's clear.
Clearly, yeah.
But I think if we're talking about a one-off game, I think Hazard is best.
Just
ridiculous, man.
And people compare them, but the funny thing I think about it, I can't remember if we talked about it last week. As much as Mo Salah's regarded as somebody who can get the ball at their feet and go, for me, he's not a dribbler. He's a guy who receives it over the back and then can do his dribbling. Like, in terms of one-on-ones, he's obviously good, but I don't think he's at an elite level
Yeah,
in terms of dribblers. He's someone that, like we've said a lot, finds pockets or finds a way in behind the back line, and that's where he does his best work. Because he could go missing for 75 minutes. Then your left back makes one mistake and gets too high or tucks in too narrow. Goal. Mo Salah's already scores. That's the thing for me. In terms of just having moments, Mo Salah's got that in him. I think that's the big differential with the two of them, and they're taking the Premier League by storm. Again, there's a lot in this era, but he might go down as that best Premier League ever winger. Once it's all said and done, him, De Bruyne. I think these guys have run the league now for 7-6 years, however long they've been there. I think when he's gone, it's nothing. When they're gone, you'll appreciate how good he is.
You're bang on about like Salah having moments because like there's times during games where you're like, Salah,
where are you?
Where's your ideal at, man? And he just makes some stupid mistakes at times. But then you watch him, like the outside of the foot cross to Gakpo, like it's just a joke. The ball to Jota and then cuts to Jones is just ridiculous. But then, Hazard never had any of those. It was just I'm going to beat the full back, then I'll beat the centre back, and then I'll do what I want from there.
I just think, and underrated as well, his connection. Nunes now made Nunes look like an incredible passer. Mane, Firmino, like he makes other players around him look so much better. I think that's an underrated part of the game. The way they all work up top there. And our 32-year-old, one name also.
KDB.
Yeah, probably the best player in the world.
Virgil unlucky to miss out.
I know, yeah. Again, I think 31, 32 and like 29, whatever it was probably the hardest the older ages because we've got probably the top 5, 6 players in the world. Like Van Dijk, probably the best player in the world on his day, but KDB, I don't think you can name a better player of the last 7 years.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Chelsea just fumbled the bag.
Oh, big time.
KDB and Salah back to back.
That's just common with Chelsea, fumbling a lot of
Common
bags.
Chelsea L, yeah.
Common Chelsea L. Todd Bowley L.
Just blue L. Just L for the Blues. Nah, KDB.
KDB. It's obviously KDB's.
He's made the league look silly at times.
Yeah, he
just
has.
Picking passes out of nowhere. Another player again who can maybe go a little bit quiet. Then all of a sudden he'll pick the ball up.
At times a little
find
bit.
a pass.
Yeah,
that's just the genius of these guys. They don't have a bad game because they'll have a moment in them. And I just think Man City, we've seen them struggle without him, and that's probably more testament to him this season. Yeah. Him missing City helped him more because we've seen them in terms of City terms have a crisis, which is lose 3 games in a short period of time, and that's massive for them. And one of the early signings was KDB for Pep, and Pep's a mastermind. He's a ball man, but he's a
got
smart
him in his
man.
first season. I think,
and that's when right? I think it was it Bravo and him and who was that third signing?
Oh, there was he bought in.
There was like a trio of them that were like the headline signings.
I think it was he bought in KDB, and then I think it was the year after he bought in all the fullbacks.
Yeah.
So I think it was KDB, Bravo, and was it like Jesus Navas or something like that?
Walker? Was Walker?
Yeah, maybe it was Walker. Like that. Maybe.
But he was that poster for the new City regime, and ever since under Pep. What have they not won? So
yeah, exactly.
That's the testament to me. And he was good at Wolfsburg as well.
Yeah, he was. He had a good couple of years there.
Couple of years there as well. Just superstar.
Yeah.
Best player, I think, in the world at the moment. Yeah.